Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic. Today we are talking about the Young Avengers. And this is relevant because this is a team of younger superheroes that are starting to pop up all over the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've shown up in movies, they're showing up in a lot of the Disney Plus TV shows. And so you might be thinking, like, what is this? What's the bigger picture? So we're going to outline from the comics the roster of the Young Avengers, who they are, what they can do. And then as we talk about them, you're going to see which ones have already started showing up, even in really kind of subtle or maybe not obvious ways. And then some that are very blatantly, here's this character. And then what's the potential, right? What might this look like? What might this team look like? So let's talk about the Young Avengers. We're going to start with Wiccan, whose real name is Billy Kaplan. Now, to keep a long story short, Billy and fellow Young Avenger Tommy are the reincarnations of the children of Scarlet Witch and Vision, of whom the originals were created by Wanda's incredibly powerful magic and reality-altering powers. The original two didn't last, but Billy Kaplan inherited Wanda's powerful magic, and his teammate Tommy, who goes by the name Speed, inherited the powers of Wanda's brother, the hero Quicksilver. So these two are not brothers, but they're reincarnations of those twins. If the Young Avengers do come to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm not sure how they'll clean up this origin to make it make sense. We also have a Skrull on the team named Teddy, who goes by the name Hulkling. Skrulls are shape-shifting aliens, but Teddy was raised on Earth without really knowing that he was actually part Skrull and part Kree, born of a secret affair. He chose the name Hulkling because of his strong green appearance and his ability to shapeshift. He's not really connected to the Hulk other than a physical similarity. Teddy was in a long-time relationship with Wiccan, and they recently married. Now, the Skrulls and the Kree have both been introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and there's an upcoming Secret Invasion series on Disney Plus that may plant the seeds to eventually see Hulkling. Up next, we have America Chavez, who sometimes uses the name Miss America. Now, some of these origins are wild, so bear with me here. America Chavez was born in a dimension outside of time and space, but she has the ability to travel the multiverse, meaning she can open up rifts to travel between realities. If you're caught up with Disney Plus series like Loki and WandaVision, they're setting up the pieces for the upcoming Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which features both Scarlet Witch and will introduce America Chavez to the MCU. In terms of power, she has an incredibly wide range of abilities in addition to her reality-hopping portals. She's also invulnerable, she can fly, and she can rival heroes like Captain Marvel if she needed to. Let's move on to Cassie Lang, who goes by Stature, or more recently as Stinger. This is the daughter of Scott Lang, one of the wearers of the Ant-Man suit. Because she was surrounded by Pym particles her entire life, she was given abilities, almost like a radiation, that allows her to utilize these particles to either reduce in size or to enlarge in size. She doesn't need a suit to change her size, but she does wear a suit often, sometimes with or without wings. Cassie was featured in the first and second Ant-Man films as a young girl, but she survived the snap to age 5 years. She'll appear as a new actress in the upcoming Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Are you ready for another weird one? Let's dive into Iron Lad, whose real name is Nathaniel Richards. Now, there's a villain that will be appearing in Quantumania, a villain by the name of Kang the Conqueror, who is known for time traveling. Well, young Nathaniel Richards is the kid version of Kang, but he learns about Kang and is now trying desperately to change his own present to stop that future from happening. He seeks out the Avengers, but they've been disbanded at this point. All he finds is an outdated Vision model, and when Nathaniel activates it, it triggers the Young Avengers protocol to seek out and unite the next era of Avengers, all these characters we're talking about. Nathaniel donned a suit of Iron Man armor mixed with the armor that was given to him by the future Kang to protect him, and he went by the name Iron Lad. We know that adult Kang will appear in Quantumania, not sure if they'll also dive into the idea of his younger self existing in modern day. Now remember this vision that Nathaniel activated? This version of Vision became known as Jonas, inhabiting a former suit of Iron Lad's and taking a lot of Nathaniel's personality. He adopted the name Jonas in an effort to become a unique individual. He even traveled the world in an attempt to find himself. He served as a young Avenger, but also helped to continue to recruit the next wave of heroes as well. Up next, we've got Kate Bishop, who goes by the alias Hawkeye. Like her namesake, she also uses a bow, as well as weapons like staves and swords. She doesn't have any superpowers per se, but she is considered one of the best archers alive. She worked with the Clint Barton Hawkeye on several occasions, as well as serving on the Young Avengers. There is a Hawkeye series coming soon to Disney+, which will introduce Kate Bishop to the MCU. Now we have Kid Loki, who is a reincarnation of the older Loki, who convinced Hela to remove his name from the Book of the Dead, and so he was resurrected instead, though starting somewhat from scratch. His story gets a little complicated with interactions from other Lokis that swayed his path, so he'd sometimes veer into the life that the prior Loki had led, while sometimes rebelling against it and wanting to be good. His allegiance was also questioned by the Young Avengers, as it always seemed like Loki had a plan or a scheme that they weren't aware of. A young version of Loki appears in the Loki Disney Plus series. Up next, we have Elijah Bradley, who goes by the name Patriot. Elijah's grandfather is Isaiah Bradley, who was given the super soldier serum to try to recreate the success of Captain America. In the comics, Elijah doesn't naturally have the super soldier serum, but instead he takes a drug to get abilities. That is, until he's injured and a blood transfusion from Isaiah gives him abilities. In the MCU, we've met Elijah in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it'd be an easy explanation that he naturally gained some superhuman abilities from his grandfather's side. Now we've got a few Young Avengers who haven't been teased or introduced yet. So let's meet Prodigy, David Aleyne. Prodigy is a mutant whose ability is to subconsciously gain knowledge from people around him. It's not mind reading, but rather absorbing information. If he's near a pilot, he knows how to fly. If he's fighting someone, he knows how they fight, and even how to avoid their attacks. His actual power had the knowledge leaving him when that person left his vicinity, but some other mutants have enhanced this ability and allowed him to retain it. We also have a character called Novar, a Kree super soldier from another reality, not even from this dimension's Kree. His DNA was spliced with cockroach DNA and some other nanobiological tweaks, allowing him incredible speed and strength, as well as wall crawling and extra sharp and poisonous fingernails that he can grow at will. It may be a while in the MCU before we see a character like this brought into the picture. Now we also have two characters who haven't been a part of the Young Avengers in the comics, but their appearance in the MCU might lead them to being incorporated into this team. The first is Miss Marvel, Kamalahan. The Miss Marvel series will be arriving to Disney Plus soon, as well as she's set to appear in the sequel to Captain Marvel called The Marvels. Kamala is what's called an Inhuman, a person given superhero abilities. I won't go into all the details as to how. Her power is to change her size and shape so she can elongate her limbs and either grow or shrink at will. We have another Disney Plus series on the way for the heroine Ironheart, Riri Williams. She is a super genius, and she built an Iron Man suit after backwards engineering from an old Stark suit. She ended up being endorsed by Stark himself, and she took on the name Ironheart. Both Riri and Kamala served on another team of young Marvel heroes called the Champions, but it would make absolute sense for these two to line up alongside the other characters that have been introduced to serve on the Young Avengers. So that is a lot. That's a big roster of people that may or may not show up. So down in the comments, I want you to let me know if you think some of these are going to pan out. Is this something that's going to happen? Is it inevitable that the Young Avengers comes to the big screen? Or do you think these are just Easter eggs that aren't going to add up to anything? Do you want to see the Young Avengers? Do you not care about this at all? So let me know down in the comments, and as usual, thanks for watching.